This webinar on how to do work you love, earn the money you deserve without losing sleep and all the hassle. Hi, my name's Linda Pallian. I'm Mycheerlinda, and today I'm going to walk you through this webinar of how you can do work that you truly love. Our goal for today will be, by the end of the webinar, for you to have a step-by-step formula to move into the right career for you. Because remember, not every career is right for every person. So we want the right career for you. This is a career that would allow you to feel fulfilled, appreciated, be able to express yourself creatively, do work you love, get recognized for it, also get the salary and the remuneration and financial stability you deserve. So, who's this webinar for? If you're a hard worker who wants to apply their skills and expertise in the same field or in a different field, in a different job, this is for you. If you're considering a career change, you're probably on a sabbatical, coming out of a sabbatical, or considering entrepreneurship, this could be for you too. If you're looking for a promotion, next level of success, definitely stay with us. You may have strong values and you believe that they should be an integral part of your work, both personal life and professionally, definitely. If you value work-life balance and you want to be able to integrate fully your well-being and personal life in your work, you want the freedom to be creative and authentic without fear and judgment or feeling like you have to put on a mask and be like other people. This webinar is for you if you want a solid career strategy, actually know where you're going from one stage to another and what stage you are at. You're ready to finally step up, stand out, shine, and be recognized as a professional in your field. And you're committed to living the life that you know that you deserve, along with getting paid and the recognition for it. This is definitely for you. So you might resonate with some of these or all of these. Definitely stay with us. And because we know now that you're committed to doing this, there is a bonus at the end for you, for those of you that stay to the end. Honestly, this webinar is going to be value-packed, lots of value, things that you can implement straight away, things that even if you learn all of this stuff and you think, oh, there's so much to do this, at the end of each point, there's at least one thing that you must do if you only do one thing. And of course, in the name of full disclosure, at the end of the webinar, I'll be giving some of you an invitation to work with me personally, and I'll tell you all about that too. And I'm sharing this with you in the name of full disclosure because sometimes that's the best way forward. But of course, we only work with where you're at and what's best for you to accelerate your progress. So in this webinar, you'll learn how to identify the right career for you, how to leverage your current skills in a different field without having to start from scratch, how to stand out as a credible professional, the most common career change mistakes that people make, and guys, this is not what you think, right? This is stuff that 90% of people are failing to do, and only if they knew. One of the feedback I normally get is, I wish I discovered this sooner. So you're steps ahead and you're going to know this and know how to avoid it. You'll also learn how to network successfully and get seen by the right people. So not just getting seen, but by the right people. Creating your own job opportunities even when no one's hiring, or even strategic partnerships that's going to get you to where you want to be faster. Then we're going to touch on effectively selling yourself and your skills. Guys, getting a new job is sales. Getting anywhere is sales. Even in your family life, getting your kids to do what you want, that's you selling yourself and selling them on an idea. So the better we are at selling ourselves and our skills, the better we are at convincing people of the value, and therefore we stand a chance of getting paid. So we're going to be talking about that. And then finally, of course, how to create an outstanding profile so we can get seen and be selected in whatever our goals are. Now, a little bit about me. I'll tell you, my mission is to empower as many people to be able to express their natural talents and leverage that in their careers. That's my heart's joy, and you'll soon find out why. And the vision is to make this as accessible to many people as possible so that we can start introducing consciousness into our careers, just like we're starting to do in our personal life, etc. So, a bit about my story. I grew up in Ghana, in West Africa, to very ambitious parents, but who didn't necessarily always have the financial means. But they really were determined for us to be the best that we can be. So they invested a lot in our education. So, and if you read my biography, a lot of what I did, I really studied hard because I wanted to please my dad. And he valued education as well. And that he actually used to say to us, "That's your way to thank me. You study hard at school." So I did, and I wanted to go into banking because, of course, I thought that would give me the most money. Like most of us, you read all of these surveys and we see other people do it, and we think, "I want to earn their money," or "I want to do that," and then that's the career path you choose. So I did, got my degree, ended up in investment banking, which I was super proud of, and everyone else around me was super proud. I set a goal, I worked hard to achieve it, and I did. But it nearly broke me. It was one of the darkest times of my life, where it just wasn't a good fit for me. And this is what I was talking about when I was talking about the right career for you. Because it's a good fit for most people. It's a good fit for many people, actually, I should say, depending on what your personality is, what your values are, what your goals are. But it definitely wasn't for me. And of course, I knew that in hindsight. So then I changed careers to suit my personality, my purpose, and my values. So rather than sitting behind a screen and working with numbers all day, I wanted to work more with people. I wanted to see the big picture of what I was doing and how it was helping others. And I just wanted it to match my values. So the first thing I did changed to match these things. And then I was doing a job suddenly that I absolutely loved. And this was my first job in careers and helping people with their careers. I absolutely loved it. I was working with people all the time. It was so fulfilling. But the organization I was working for couldn't afford to pay me as much as I was getting in the investment bank, or compared to my friends and colleagues. I just felt like I don't deserve this. I'm working so hard and I absolutely love what I'm doing and I'm making a difference and I can see it. Except, why am I not in a position where I can get a mortgage or afford the luxuries that my other friends who are still in the banking and other sectors are doing, etc. So I realized that as well as purpose, personality, and values, I also needed the money and recognition to go with it. So again, I career changed to have all of these and match my lifestyle. Okay, so this is when I decided, okay, like I really like travel. My husband at the time, my now husband, my partner at the time, was traveling a lot, and I wanted to see the world and meet more people and have the digital nomad lifestyle, which I wasn't going to get by working in the universities and having to commute. So then again, I added lifestyles to one of my non-negotiables. And therefore, these are who I work with. Okay, people that want a career change for their purpose, personality, values. You want the money and recognition as well as the lifestyle. Sometimes it's flexible working so that you can have time for your hobbies. Sometimes it's well-being, so you can go to the gym in the morning, or actually be able to manage your time so you work at a time that suits you best. So that's my story. So I transitioned from being fired in an investment banking, which was my dream at the time and my parents' dream, to actually a career now that I love and I feel like I make a difference every day and I'm excited to do, and I can create it myself and I can be more creative. So that's my story. And because of that and my experience, you can definitely count on it that these are my values: integrity and authenticity, commitment to the purpose, accountability, and consistency. This is rules that I live by. This is what people expect of me. This is what my clients hold me accountable to, and I hold them accountable to the same standards. Because of this and because of how authentic and open I am in my business, I attract people with the same values. So you're probably nodding to this as you're listening, because this is some of the stuff that you resonate with, and that really matches your personality and your values too. So I always say career success is simple. Simple, simple, simple. Find your genius, you leverage it in your work, and then you make the money that you deserve, okay? It's simple. You first identify what you're great at, then find a way to use that in work and get paid for it. And once you've done that, because it's something that you're naturally good at, naturally interested in, it's easy to go up the ranks. It's easy to keep persevering. It's easy to progress in it, and it's easy to dominate the field because this is you. Okay, so that's what we're going to do in this webinar. So we'll go straight to it. 4 steps to the work you love that's fulfilling and well paid. And I insist on the well paid because that's the difference between a career and a vocation or a hobby. Okay, we expect remuneration, and handsome remuneration, for the hard work that we do. Okay, so the first thing is a self-analysis, building your outstanding profile, and then you're going to learn how to market your value and then negotiate your wishes. Once you do that, that's the steps to work you love. Okay, and we're going to go and explore this in detail. Okay, it's not as simple as we say, but I'm going to share everything that I know in the time that we have with you so that you can get started straight away on the ladder to work that you love. Okay, running the self-analysis first. We start with you. I'm a huge advocate for taking responsibility and ownership of your career and what happens to you. So that's exactly what we do. We start with you. And the first thing is mindset and genius. Then we talk about what your negotiables and non-negotiables are, what your existing skills are, and what other factors surround your goals. Okay? So when we talk about genius, if you haven't already read my book, How to Career, read that, because then you'll find out exactly what the career acronym stands for. So C, cause, which is something you dedicate your life towards, your life's purpose, if you will. A is authentic to you, authenticity. R is your reason why. Okay, this is almost your opportunity cost and who benefits as a result of your action or inaction. E is for environment, E is for excitement, and R is for remuneration. And we'll talk a lot more about this in later webinars and when we go on to work together. But for now, career is an important step in uncovering your full potential, and then you're able to market that potential and your genius and your worth. Okay, and then also we want to look at your natural path to wealth. What are you naturally endowed with? What skills are you naturally endowed with? Okay, that's gonna help you in your career. And then what are your values and what personality do you have? Because one of the number one reasons people are unhappy with their jobs is because the organizational culture, it's not a fit for them. Okay, so we need to know that beforehand so we can identify that when we're looking for places where we want to apply our skills, or places we want to work, or business ventures, whatever your career or vocation is. Okay, your mindset is also your beliefs about your career and what you think is possible. What do you believe about your career and what do you think is possible in that vein? So we're moving on now to talk about your negotiables and non-negotiables. Now, this is a very important document to prepare, and my clients have found this super helpful. It always comes back in the feedback as one of the most powerful exercises they did. Okay, so when you're unhappy in your career or in your work, or when you're thinking, I need a new job or a new career, you really want to understand what you're happy to negotiate on, what you don't mind doing, and what you absolutely mind doing. Okay, we want to be crystal clear on who will work for, what we won't do, what sort of tasks bore us to tears, what sort of tasks we find exciting. Because if you don't know what you're looking for, then you're going to end up picking something and anything, and that might not be the right thing for you. And most people say, oh, I fell into my career, and some leave and some stay. But once we know what we're looking for, we can laser focus on that. And of course, with the right techniques and strategies that we apply, we're bound to get exactly what we're looking for. So negotiables and non-negotiables, and I've put here, have a list, okay? There's some things that you might think, well, I wouldn't mind doing, some things that I absolutely won't do. So for example, I don't want to commute for 2 hours. So then we know what the radius of your search is, or if I'm willing to relocate, not willing to relocate. So those are bigger issues. But then there's some things like, and I put coffee on here. One of my clients said, I can't believe I was working for a place that the coffee was just crap, and they wouldn't even invest in good coffee for us, and we were working long hours. And that was a bugbear for him, just the quality of coffee that was being served at the workplace, instant coffee instead of having a machine. So that was on his non-negotiables list, okay, that it was a telltale sign that the company wasn't invested in its employees. So you can put anything that you want on your list, as ridiculous as you may think it sounds, it doesn't, okay? I want colleagues who are active, or colleagues that share hobbies, insights, etc. I want an office that's an open plan layout, or actually I want a quiet office where I can shut my door and work. I want somewhere where I can be given my own task and I can do it anywhere, that flexible working or not. I want tasks that involve working directly with people, or I want tasks where I just have to send emails and I don't have to talk to anybody. You know what your personality is. You figure out exactly what works for you, and this is part of the self-analysis. Okay? Then we're going to go into your existing skills inventory. Depending on what we're aiming for, you may have skills that you've acquired over the years. And guys, it's not necessarily just work experience, what you've done in the past. It might be things that you're doing in your hobbies, in your church, in your clubs. It might be things that you're doing at home that gives you evidence of being organized, or evidence of being a leader, etc. So we need to take a list, an inventory of all of these things that makes you this awesome person. Okay, what trainings have you done? What webinars have you done? What talks have you been part of? Conferences have you attended? Your extracurricular activities, team sports, etc. We want to have a whole list of why you're amazing as you are, okay? And then I've put under here the underlying theme in all of these things. So for example, and if you've heard me speak, you'll know exactly what the underlying theme is, but I'm going to quickly explain it for those of you who are new to Mycheerlinda and what we do. So your underlying theme, for example, for the quickest way is to give you an example of a client. So a client, Leon, he is a software designer, software engineer, designer, so he does the front end, but also a playwright, and he writes his own plays. And actually he's had a movie come out. from that. But on the surface, it looks like two separate things. But when you look into his personality, you realize actually they're both very creative. Whether you're writing code for software or actually inventing characters, the underlying theme there is creativity. So we know that Leon can work in software and IT, and he can work in the arts because he has that creative theme, that creative genius within him. So that's what we mean by an underlying theme. And sometimes it takes someone else to point it out to you. But this is what we do when we work one-to-one. We take a whole inventory. I don't use the word inventory lightly. We take a whole inventory of you as a whole, and then we figure out what your genius is, and that's what we sell. Okay? And then, of course, CPD, continuous personal and professional development, everything else that you've done to enhance your skills and your skill set, because that's what we're going to sell at the next stage. And then finally, to do with self-analysis, we want to be as realistic as possible. Guys, you probably realized by now that I'm not one for dreaming, okay? If we're going to do it, we're going to do it. So we really want to take stock of what in your environment right now, what in your life supports or hinders your goal to do work you love, okay? You may have dependence, which means that it's not easy for you to change jobs like that or quit and take the plunge, without any life support or parachute. So we take into account these factors, and you take into account those factors, okay? What's the minimum amount of money I need to be able to afford a career change? And if not, if you think, okay, well, this isn't feasible, there's other ways of doing it, but we just want to be as realistic as possible with ourselves, okay? And then significant other, how's that going to help or hinder that? Do they support you or not? And whether they do or not, it doesn't matter. Your goals will always be your goals, and you'll find a way to do it. So, but we need to know that so that we can mitigate those risks, okay? How much time have you got to work on this? Okay, what's your availability and overall life goals? So, for example, if I want to travel the world as my overall life goal, it doesn't make sense then to take my dream job that requires me to stay in the city. Okay, those two things would be conflicting, and it means that something's going to give. So we really want to do this self-analysis to have a clear picture of where we are. And when I was writing this and when I'm doing this, I see it almost as a balance sheet for those of you who come from a finance background. So, because it's a snapshot picture of where we are right now without judgment. It's just the state of affairs, how it is. Okay? And then we're going to then, once we've done the self-analysis, we're going to figure out what we can do about it. Now, I've put this slide in because I've put this creepy owl spider picture because I realized earlier on, as I was sharing with you when I was telling you about my story, that copying doesn't work. Okay, when I decided to branch off and do career coaching, career strategy as an independent person, I had a business coach that I worked with, and I thought, oh great, I've got all these materials, I'm gonna do that. And I realized quickly enough that I hated writing blogs and articles, and she did that every day, and newsletters to her following, and you had to be creative with all of these things that you came with. And I can talk forever, but if you ask me to write, first of all, I'll record it and then try and type it out and then print it and then overanalyze it and then go back and rewrite it. And imagine having to do that every day. So that didn't work for me. So I decided to do videos, again, because it matches better with my personality. people facing versus desk. At any given chance, I like to interact with people. So when you jump on a call with me, it'll usually be a video call because I want to see you. I want to look into your eyes as much as I can. And if I'm in your city, definitely I want to see you face to face and spend more time. It just works better for me and my personality, okay? External factors that happened and what resources I had, okay? I can't fly to everybody to go and have a one-to-one session. Otherwise I would, which is why it's reserved only for my VIP clients, because I know that we're going to be spending 2 full days together, a week together if you do the careercation, and we're going to then make some real difference, you know. But otherwise, how else can I do it? So the resource right now for most people is the video conferences. So that works really well, and that's what I do. Okay, so copying doesn't necessarily work. And it might be 2 people doing the exact same service, and one person does it better this way, one way, and the other person does it better the other way. Find what works for you. And this is the whole idea about careers. It's supposed to be as personalized as possible to give you the best chances of success. It also means that no one can copy it and do it the way you do. So, as I promised, if you only do one thing from the self-analysis, if you only do one thing and you ignore everything I said about mindset and everything, which I don't suggest you do, but if you're super lazy and you want to do one thing, I really want you to take stock of yourself. Do that inventory of your likes, your dislikes, your personality, your natural strengths, what you would ideally like to do, what you're looking for in work, etc. Do that stock take, okay? Do that stock take, and that's really going to give you an in-depth vision of yourself and understanding of yourself, which you can then leverage and sell. Okay, we're moving on to step 2, which is creating an outstanding profile. So step 2 of 4, creating an outstanding profile that's going to get you to do work you love. And you want to be the one they remember, okay? You want this profile to be not be able to be copied by anyone because it's completely you. It's everyone remembers that, okay? So that's what we're going to do. And under creating an outstanding profile, we're going to separate that into 2 parts, because in the modern day we live in, we have 2 parts. We have our online presence and our offline presence. Our online presence and our offline presence. At first, we used to have just your CV and cover letter, and that was the paper. Most of you in this society now, even your CV is online now, and that could be in the form of a LinkedIn, but also we send it via email, so that becomes part of your online profile. So your CV, cover letter need to be spot on. They really need to convey the person that you are. And a lot of us have learned to sort of take the personality out of our CV and our cover letter. And we sort of look at all of these templates online, or we've been told by other professionals that this is how it's supposed to be done. And to some extent, yes, there are guidelines for CV and cover letters in terms of making it readable and easily digestible and understood by recruiters. But definitely it needs to have some personality. Otherwise, what makes you different from one person to the next? And I remember when I was recruiting, and you could almost tell who'd had the same guidance from the same company, because there was nothing distinctive about their application. It was all the same, pretty much the same words. It just had a different name on the top of it. So we want your applications to stand out, your biographies, your website if you have one, social media, Google, and portfolio. Ooh, I see a spelling mistake on portfolio. you can tell because I do this all the time. I'm quite quick at capturing spelling mistakes. I think I'm going to change that, because that would just, portfolio. There you go. And I love this about being me because I can just point out my mistakes and do it as we go. And that's the beauty of it, that this is the point where you're unapologetically yourself. Okay, so your social media needs to reflect the personality that you're trying to achieve. Okay, and when we do this in depth, you'll realize it's everything you have online, the reviews you leave, the things you're tagged in, the comments you make, the things you like. This is the post, whether it's on your hidden personal page or on your professional page, but you want everything to completely reflect who you are. And this is why we try and marry the personal and professional brand as closely as possible. So you don't have to pretend, or you don't have to worry about hiding stuff and your privacy settings, because you're proud of what you do and what you represent and what you've said and what you haven't said, what you've liked and what you've supported. And you don't have to explain yourself to everyone, because everybody will get that straight on from knowing you. So that's about your online profile. So make sure that your online profile is outstanding. Then we're going to go to your offline profile. And this is what you look like. What you look like, the energy that you emit, if you believe in stuff like that. I certainly do. Your presence, the presence you have when you walk into a room. Okay, and all of this stuff, you can change it. Guys, do you know that? You could change your aura and your energy so that you walk in and people are more receptive to you. Imagine doing that in an interview or in a negotiation meeting where they already like you and they don't even know why. And all of these things are skills that can be learned. I certainly learned that, and I go deep and deeper and deeper into this stuff. When we work one-on-one, some of you, if you've spoken to some of my students, and which is why you're in this webinar, you'll know that I even have certain perfumes for certain networking opportunities. This stuff works, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. So identifying the attributes of your brand, whether you're serious, professional, whether you're creative, casual, elegant, etc. The tone of and vocabulary of your brand, whether you're formal, whether you're informal, whether you're artistic, whether you include swear words or not, whether you're approachable. You can decide all of these aspects of your offline profile. And then, of course, your style, and your style, written style, verbal style, all of that stuff needs to be consistent with your online profile. Again, we're just marrying the two so that people feel like they authentically know you when they finally meet you. So when they've done your online profile and they see you offline, it fits together. Because the worst thing is when you've met someone in person and then you go and look them up and you find things that you don't want to find, or their online profile doesn't match who you've met. It's just disappointing, and you're not likely to recommend the person or work with the person. So you really want to make sure that you're controlling these things. And I'll give you an example of Fran. And I put Audrey Hepburn's photo there because you guys know I'm a big fan of Audrey Hepburn. She has a massive, massive brand image, and it's amazing, and we'll be talking about Fran, and this is a direct quote from Fran. She went and she didn't even have to introduce herself. She went for an interview, didn't even have to introduce herself. Fran's a graphic designer, and she's been working for casinos for about 7 years when we met. And she really wanted to work in a job that she found. So she loves being a graphic designer. She's a very creative person. And when you see her, then the style and clothes that she wears, you can tell that she's a creative. She really wanted to work for this competitor. So when we were doing her personal and professional branding online, we worked on her online presence and some of the contribution and content that she's written. And when she went for the interview, they already knew who she was, because guess what? She was at events. She was contributing in groups that are relevant to her subject. She'd written some articles which the interviewers had read. She'd made herself known within her industry. Okay, so that even though it was a huge competitor of the casino she was working for, they knew who she was in the industry, and it's so much easier. Imagine not even having to negotiate and people know you before you enter the room. That's what we want to get to, or at least for your CV to be memorable. Oh, I remember seeing your CV. You're that person that worked in China. You're that person that. That's what we're trying to get to. Okay, so this is the power of really creating an outstanding profile that people remember. So, if you do one thing and one thing alone, Google yourself. See what other people see when they look at your name. Okay, put your settings into maybe a private browser so it's not biased for cookies, etc. And Google yourself. See it from their side. What perceptions they're likely to form from the search results that come up for you. And if you don't like it, guess what? Change it. Right, let's move on. In the interest of time, we're almost halfway through, so we're gonna speed on so that we can respect each other's time. So the next thing is marketing your value. Marketing your value. And this is something that most people don't do enough of. And it's super valuable to market your value. It gives you this edge, okay, and gets you seen by the right people. As I said, marketing your value. Now, there's different ways to do this, but we're going to be focusing on two aspects: strategic networking and influencer and authority building. We've all had or attended networking events. There's lots of organized ones. There's ones that you can do online. And many of you do networking, even though you probably think you don't. When you join a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group, that's networking. When you're contributing to them. When you're going out to work events, that's networking. Okay, but we don't just want to show our faces, because as we said, we want to get seen by the right people. So we want to see who are the key decision makers, key players that are going to contribute for the goals, and then we want to exactly do that. Now, that could be in an informal setting or formal setting. I know a friend of mine, Sylvia, here in Cyprus, who booked a massage and took her magazine to the massage parlor just because she felt inspired to do that. I ended up speaking to the producer, to the spa manager, who then wanted to produce some of the content that she does. So networking can be as informal as possible in the supermarket, anywhere. And I'll tell you a minute about a client example that was just mind-blowing that we did in London. And then there's influencer and authority building. So I put that picture here of the beer and networking for informal. When you do the online course as well, I give you so many more examples of buying beer and golf club and some of these examples, and you can be as creative as you like. Now, influence and authority building, you want to publish content, be seen, and build confidence and credibility. And I put this picture of the soldier here because I thought it was so telling of being the authority in your field. Okay, you set the rules, you dictate stuff. You're seen as an authority because you are using your brain to think. Okay, most of us think when we do jobs, and I know. And if you're here, you're that kind of person. It sounds almost silly to say most people think when they're doing jobs, but you do. You're finding new and better ways of improving the services, or you're offering. You're being creative about how your work is received, and all of this stuff. When you publish it, you suddenly become a thought leader. Okay, you become an author pretty much, which is where authority comes from. You become an author and you set the standards. Okay, so this really helps when it comes to marketing yourself because, as I said, with Fran, people had already got to know her from reading her articles, and this is work she was going to do anyway. But now she's done that in her own name, so that the authority follows her, and it's not doing it under the name of the company, but doing it as Fran herself. Okay, so really, when you get to this influencing and authority status, you start to set the rules and the terms of operation. Of course, that comes in very handy when it comes to salary negotiation, as you can imagine. They want to work with you, so of course they're going to accommodate your demands, whether it's salary or flexible working or whatever terms that are important to you. Now, I'll give you an example of Danny quickly in this, and I call her Shy Danny because Danny's really shy, and part of the reasons is that Danny's super creative, runs her own business, but just doesn't know how to sell it or push, and doesn't want to push people, and that's fine if that's not your personality. Personally, I don't like it. I don't like pushing people. So what we did was, okay, we'll find out how to leverage that shyness and make the most of it, okay? So we then worked with Danny's network, who do you know? And then we did a face-to-face session in London, and we had a hotel lobby exercise where she was supposed to identify someone in the hotel and just go introduce herself with 3 key phrases so people would know what she does, what she's looking for, and how they might be able to help her. So we did that, and this was a one-to-one coaching session. And at first, Danny was super shy, so again, I led by example. I went to do it, found a random stranger, went to sit with them. Hey, my name's this is what I do, and this is what I'm looking to do today. Fairly casual, fairly simple, not forcing anyone, but just by voicing out what you want to achieve. From this exercise alone, even though this was Danny's exercise, I ended up connecting with a businessman from Singapore who I'm still in contact with today because he was very interested in leadership coaching for his staff. Right? And this is such a powerful exercise. Danny got a New York trade fair jewelry expo, which she attended to showcase her jewelry, and she makes handmade jewelry from real gold. And actually, I should have put a link to her below, but you can message me and I'll connect you to it. Absolutely wonderful stuff. So this really works, and whether you're shy or not, you can still do that. So if you do one thing, make a visibility plan. Make a plan to be visible. What are you going to showcase to the world? Whom do you need to be connected to? And where do you need help to achieve your goal? Just having that in writing alone really, really, really makes sure that you're seeing it, it becomes real to you, and it just pushes you to get to do that next step that gets you closer to it. Very powerful stuff. A visibility plan, highly recommended. Okay? And then finally, we're coming to how to negotiate your wishes. How to negotiate your wishes. What do you want? What do you want? Okay? Wouldn't it be amazing to be able to say, I want this, and then have that? This is exactly what we're prepping for. So, 3 keys to negotiating with your boss about what you want. First of all, you have to go in there with confidence. Confidence. You've heard the expression confidence is sexy. I so believe that. I so believe that, right? Whether it's money, whether it's flexible working, whether it's partnership, whether it's whatever it is you want, you just have to be confident about that. And this is what the first 3 steps help you do. That confidence of your "this is why I'm hot" list, listing everything that makes you so awesome. That will give you the confidence. Listing all your existing skills inventory, that will give you the confidence. Knowing exactly what you want, that will give you confidence. Okay? And then the second thing is KPIs, key performance indicators. You absolutely have to understand without ambiguity what is expected and what your performance is being measured by. A lot of the time, most people say, "Oh, we need to." They're working hard and coming in early, staying late, and maybe your performance indicator is actually how many clients you convert. So it doesn't matter whether you stay late or stay early. If you convert X amount of clients, you're still going to be seen as successful. So you really want to understand, and if you don't know, clarify with your boss or your key decision maker what your performance indicators are, and then being able to show that. And then I've put productivity. You need to show that you're actually matching those KPIs. The trial period in negotiations, it doesn't mean that you're always going to get your way. The goal is to get most of your way, okay? And I'll tell you a quick story about Judge Judy in a minute if I've got time. But you really want to be certain of what you want, and then pitch in a trial period, okay, so that you can prove that what you want and how you want to do it works. So for example, if you wanted flexible working, say, hey, how about I do work on Fridays, let's trial it for a month and see if I'm able to get more work done or less work done. And of course, you want to record these and show proof of productivity. That's what's going to give you the leg to stand on to make it permanent. Okay, so you always really want to prove that it works too. Okay, if you're negotiating about benefits, for example, or equity in the firm, you want to prove how that's going to keep you more motivated, how that's going to give you more leverage to be able to talk to stakeholders, customers, clients, and close more deals, okay? And as I said, I'm always about the win-win, always about the win-win. The aim of negotiation is to figure out what's fair to both parties, what will make both people happy. Don't be all selfish about getting what you want at the expense of others. Always create a win-win, because that's going to make the win sweeter. Okay, everyone's happy, and they know that you've thought about them too. Give you an example of Eva, who I call master negotiator, and you can read about Eva on the website. Eva is amazing, by far one of the best negotiators, became one of the best negotiators after working together. So Eva wanted time with her puppies and her family. She and her new husband are thinking about having a kid. So she really wanted work that was going to give her flexibility to be able to do that. She loves traveling and being involved in different projects as well. So she runs a number of charities too and wanted the flexibility to do that. Work from home and, of course, equity. And this is what we did in her non-negotiables and negotiables list. And then we worked out, okay, what are the wins that I've had this year? How much money have I made for this company this year? Can I prove that when I work from home, I'm more productive because I'm not traveling around London in the traffic and on the tubes with all the problems, but I get to work straight away? Can I prove that when I'm in a more creative environment that I'm able to close the sale? Can I prove that when I meet people face to face rather than calling them on the phone, they buy into me and therefore they buy our services? Okay? These were all things we needed to put in place so that she then was able to go to she went then to an old boss who'd left the company and started her current company and started on her own, and really negotiated. So she's now partner of this new company doing exactly this, and was able to take most of her non-negotiable items. And this is what happens when you absolutely know your worth and you can sell yourself effectively and communicate your value. It's amazing, guys. You think that it's not possible in my industry, and this is exact quotes from Eva. It's not possible in my industry. Most people, it's an old boys club. They're used to that rigid way of doing things. They're never going to go for it. But once we're able to show the the value and the benefit for them and provide a win-win, it was so much easier for everybody to say yes. Okay, so that's what we do. If you do one thing from this exercise of negotiating your wishes, write a "This is why I'm hot" list. Okay, "This is why I'm hot" list has come from the song "This is why I'm hot, hot." If you know the song, if not, it's just a "This is why I'm hot" list. Okay, and what we do is write down and memorize your confidence boosters. These are your testimonials that people are giving you, from whether clients, whether it's your bosses, whether colleagues, all the praise you've got both from work and elsewhere. These are the things that you're going to have in front of you, and it's going to give you the confidence to go in and do a great negotiation. Amazing, amazing stuff. Okay, so in a job that you love, it looks like this. You're happy and peaceful with what you're doing. You're proud of the work you do. You're respected for the work you do too, and there's no conflict. Okay, you just want to tell everybody what you do because you love it so much. You're fulfilled. It has meaning. It matters. It makes a difference. You can see the big picture. Remember when I was telling you I was working at the bank and I couldn't see the big picture? Right? You have that big picture view of goals. So even if you're working in a lab, another client, Cleo, who was working in a lab and said, "I'm really anal about health and safety because I really want us to be able to win contracts year on year. And I know that if we screw up and let the side down on health and safety and we lose a contract, it'll be harder, and which means we'll lose our job." So, that sort of big picture view that most lab technicians or most workers would just take for granted. She had that, okay? And of course, you get the success you deserve and you get paid your worth and people choose you. So why are you here? You're probably here because you think you've had enough, and I really want you to find out, have you really had enough, or are you just saying it? You're tired of getting more and more technical skills. And I know people with 6, 7 diplomas, and you see dumb people who are doing better than you, and you know that you deserve better because you're resolute about your happiness not being negotiable. Okay, you're gonna get that at whatever it takes. And it's finally your turn to shine. That's why you're here. So if that's what made you click on this webinar, if that's why you're doing it, let's do this. Okay? And the winning formula is do what you love, you get the money, recognition, fulfillment for it, and then you make yourself indispensable so that it's hard to get rid of you. Now you're probably saying, that's a lot of information to have, right? And it is, and I appreciate that. And as I said, I promised you value, and I wanted to give you as much value. But now you're thinking, where do I start? And maybe I have no time, and my life is busy as it is, and I don't have any experience at all. I'm too shy, or this is all too much, and what if it doesn't work? And how long is it going to take? These are all things that I get sometimes, resistance of why it's not going to work. But guys, I have made even the most skeptical successful in their professional goals. And I guarantee you, if you've got no time, this is exactly why you need to do it, because we want to free you to be able to have more time for your hobbies and your family and spend time with friends. So this is why this is important. If there's anything that you need to include to get you the life you want, it's doing this. Okay? And it will definitely work for you if you follow the steps. It's proven strategies. And of course, it's your choice. We hold your hand through each step of the way. My team and I will hold your hand accountable. I was saying to someone yesterday that I am the sort of coach that I work with people that share my values, but also people that know exactly who I am. If I need to show up at your door to make you do what you have to do, then I'm going to do that. Okay? Because I've been there myself and I've learned the lesson. I've helped others do it, and I know that you can do it. And of course, I don't take everyone on. I take people that I know have what it takes to get the results they're looking for. So your next step is to book a strategy call with me. You'll find a button flashing down below, book a strategy call now. Let's talk about it. It's a no obligation call. There's no hard sell. As I said, integrity, authenticity, I'm going to be upfront with you. There's no hard sell. There's no risk to you for doing this call. And what we want to do is to get you to the next stage of implementing what you've learned so far. Okay, so book that call. There's a link in person, but you should have a button that takes you straight to a calendar to book a call. And in a career you love, you can expect clarity, okay? Clarity if you've got multiple interests, not sure what to focus on and how to combine them, what your next move is, what career is right for your personality type, what you want to do. Actually, a lot of people get confused when you go to a networking and maybe you hate your job or you've just quit and you're in between and people keep going, what do you do? So what do you do? And then you just don't even know how to answer that question. We address that, okay? How to fix it when you feel creatively stifled in your work, okay? How to do that. What happens when you're not getting callbacks for interviews and responses after several applications? If actually employment is for you or if you'd be better off doing something else, we give you surefire ways to find that out so that you can go in it with your eyes wide open. What career options work for you, and how to get your confidence back after a break from work, after rejections, after being fired, after personal losses, whatever it is. Because as I said, we take a holistic view into a career because we want you to do this sustainably. We want you to do this long term. So it's a holistic view of what's going on with you and how to give you back that mojo. So imagine this. You were saying you didn't have enough time. Imagine having time for things that you love, highly respected in your field, celebrated. You become the go-to expert. You have a unique personal and professional identity that people can count on. Okay, you can live life on your own terms, work from anywhere, have some work-life balance as much as you want, get your voice heard and be respected in your field. Okay, flexible hours, time for your hobbies, combining your hobbies, sometimes working together to get paid, lots of laughter in your work. I mean, I love laughing, right? So if you can incorporate lots of laughter, that's important for me too. I need to be able to have fun and have a laugh at work. Surround yourself by your kind of people. As I said, I call people my tribe members and my family members because they are my kind of people. We share similar values, and you want to feel proud of yourself, so that you say, look, I've done my part. And you finally get the career, the credibility, the recognition, the pay that you deserve. Okay, what will that feel like for you when you can finally say, hey, this is me, okay? This is the version of me that I know that I'm capable of, I sought to achieve. Okay, and that again, book the call. That's what you're going to get when we book the call, to be able to work closely one-on-one to be able to achieve that. And we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it if it's right for you, if it isn't right for you. And there's lots of other programs that we offer. But you need to take that first step, okay? We need to talk about it, see how you can implement it. You can ask as many questions as possible. So on the call, we're going to get clear on your professional goals. You're going to get a strategy on how to get to your next level of success, whatever that is for you, at whatever stage you're now. You're going to get access to exclusive personal and professional development resources if it's applicable for you. So if you say, hey, I need some more resources on this, I'm going to give you access to it if you're going to take action. You're going to get access to that. And of course, you're going to have a new tribe of like-minded professionals who are going to get you closer and closer to your goals. And as promised, when you take action, you get rewarded. And this is for action takers now. So when you book this call, guys, you're going to get access to one of I will say the best online training course there for your career. And this is stuff that you can do at your own pace. It's so exhaustive and it covers all areas of careers. What we've been talking about, we go into depth of your CV, your cover letter, your online profile, all of the stuff that I was talking about, that's all in this course. You're going to get access to that for free. How good is that? That's because you've taken action. So if you haven't booked your call, do it now as we're talking. That button is flashing. Do that now. And you're going to get access to this. And this is worth £500, guys. This is worth £500. And I'm selling it at £500. But for you who's taking the time to do this webinar, and I know that you're serious, I'm going to give you access to it. How does that sound? Comprehensive guide to jumpstart your career and powerful tools to implement for immediate results. Immediate result, not tomorrow, now. Okay, so here's what happens. When you book the call, it takes a maximum 2 minutes to book the call. There's 4 questions to establish if we're a right fit. Okay, we're talking about the tribe. It needs to be a hell yeah for both of us, okay? You might want to work with me and I don't think you're a good fit or you're ready to work with, and I might recommend someone else to you. I might want to work with you and I don't feel that you're ready enough, and that's fine. I'll tell you that it isn't, but it needs to be a hell yeah for both of us. In the call, which lasts maximum 40 minutes, you can ask me anything on how to implement all of this for immediate results. We will deep dive into your particular situation so we can leverage that really and get the most out of it. And of course, what I know for sure is that if you do nothing, nothing changes, okay? If you think about it and overthink it and overanalyze it, and I say that, guys, because guess who's done that before? I have. Nothing will happen. But if you book the call, you'll find out this is right for you. It's helpful advice. You've stayed with us this long, so you know that you need this stuff. And of course, you get free. You get rewarded. You've got nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Okay. So do book your call now. Here's some of the questions that I'm getting asked. When do we get started? Straight away. Straight away. As soon as it's a good fit, you've booked your call. We've gone over what your goals are. You can get started straight away. Is it expensive? No, I'd always say no. There's definitely payment plans to do it. And there's obviously different price tiers as well to suit your budget and different offerings. So definitely do that. Another question that came in this morning was, how closely do we work together? Do you have access to me? Of course you do. Guys, I hope that you can see the passion in my voice. I will make sure that you have as much access to me as possible 24/7. I will answer your questions, emails, etc. And you can find a lot of this out when we're talking and on the calls. You'll know exactly what you're getting. Do we write your CV for you, cover letters, etc.? No, we work with you to do that because we want to make sure it's in your tone. It's not, nobody can copy that, okay? Nobody can replace that, nobody can copy that, okay? Tribe questions. You can join the tribe. There's a website, no, a Facebook group, Empowered Professionals, Mindset, Career, Lifestyle, on the Mycheerlinda Facebook page. Join that. You'll find a group of like-minded people. You'll see the kind of people that we work with. Definitely follow us on Instagram as well. And before you go, you could feel free to get in contact with us directly with any of your questions. The website is mycheerlinda.com. You can message us directly, office@mycheerlinda.com. And of course, there's my phone number where any one of us in the team will be happy to talk to you and answer any questions that you might have. So guys, this is your next step. Book the strategy call. I can't wait to talk to you guys. Thank you so much for your time and for staying with us. It's been fantastic and I hope you've got some value. I'd love to hear your feedback too. So let us know what you've learned, what you're going to implement. And guys, here's to you and doing work you love. I've been Linda Pallian, Mycheerlinda. Thank you so much for hopping on and for being with us in this webinar. Thank you.